Hey everybody, my name is Mike and welcome to the channel Bricks and Life, where we talk about bricks and we talk about life as well. And for the first video of this channel, I wanted to create a video that talked about when and why I started collecting Lego sets. And my journey into collecting Lego sets does not stem from my childhood. I was not a kid who grew up with Lego. I did not own any Lego sets. I was aware of Lego, but it was something that did not interest me at the time. Instead, growing up as a child in the 80s, which was a great decade to be a kid, I must say, I was more into IP juggernauts, like the original trilogy Star Wars films. The Empire Strikes Back was one of the first films that I ever saw in a movie theater. It was amazing. I was also into Saturday morning cartoons, some of the all-time classics like G.I. Joe and Transformers and He-Man and Ghostbusters as well. And I was into gaming as well. And gaming back in the 80s, at the front part of the 80s, meant that you were into Atari 2600. And then the back end of the 80s, mid 80s, that meant you had a Nintendo NES. And I was into all of those things because Lego at that time did not have all the incredible IPs that they have now for some of the most amazing sets that you'll ever find to do that. Instead, the popular Lego themes at the time in the 80s were themes like castle and pirates and space, not Star Wars space, just classic space. The Star Wars license when it come to Lego until 1999. And so again, I didn't grow up with Lego. I was aware of Lego. I always saw Lego sets on the store shelves when my parents would take me to a store, but it just wasn't part of my childhood to do that. So if you fast forward many years later, in 2004, I end up getting married. And my wife and I, her name is Crystal. And a fun fact about her name is that my last name is Clear, C-L-E-A-R. And so my wife is legally crystal clear. So that was my contribution to the marriage. That was fun. And then you fast forward a few more years later, and we end up having our first child, a boy. His name is Nash, and he was born in 2008. And then 2.5 years later, we had our second child, a daughter. Her name is Kennedy, and she was born in 2010. And so you fast forward a few more years after that, and it was in 2014 that my kids were 6 and 4, and they were into things that preschoolers are typically into at that time. They were into stuff like Yo Gabba Gabba, which I gotta tell you, is actually a pretty incredible, fun show to watch as an adult with your kids. They were into Thomas the Train. They were into Scooby-Doo, and my son was into Batman animated series to do that. So while that was fine, we were trying to find things as parents to do with them that weren't tied to technology, but were things that we could do together and have an experience together. And so that's when we stumbled upon a couple of things at Home Depot and at Lowe's. Once a month, they would do like a monthly build where they would give you a kit and then you would put it together with some of the tools they would provide. And it was really actually pretty fun, and it was free, so that was a bonus. And we would do that once a month. We would go to the Home Depot and do theirs. Then the next week or whenever Lowe's had theirs, we would go over there and do that as well. So we were on the hunt for those types of experiences. And so it was in the year of our Lord, 2014, is when Lego entered the picture for me and my family, and thus began our Lego journey. We were at our local mall, the North Point Mall, just north of Atlanta, and we were there and walked by the Lego store, and my wife was like, hey, we should get a Lego set and try that. And again, I was like, that's fine. I didn't grow up with Lego, didn't care about Lego as a kid, didn't care about it as an adult. And so I was like, yeah, sounds great. Let's try it. And so we ended up picking up our first Lego sets. And my son, because he liked Batman, he ended up picking set number 76010, the Batman and Penguin face-off. And then I ended up picking up set number 21103, the DeLorean Time Machine, because obviously, as a kid of the 80s, Back to the Future, one of the best movies that was out there. So at that time, I would have told you, I thought these Lego sets were just going to be another fun thing that we did one time, and then we would move on to something else. But we discovered something in the midst of that building session that was more than we thought was going to be there. And building Lego together as a family, Kennedy, again, a little bit too young to have her own Lego set, so she helped me build the DeLorean Time Machine, and my wife helped my son build his Batman set. And we found that building Lego together as a family was a great way to connect. It was a great way to be creative with the kids. And it was also a great way to make memories that lasted well beyond the building experience. So we had a great time with that, and that is really what started our journey into Lego. A couple of months later, we were like, hey, we should get another Lego set to do together as a family. And so we went to the Lego store and we picked up set number 76011, Batman and Man-Bat Attack. And then I picked up set number 21108, Ecto-1, because again, obviously Ghostbusters, another all-time classic movie that is out there. And we had a great time with that. That naturally turned into a couple of months after that, we picked up some more sets. And this is probably where things got more cemented for us as far as Lego in our life, because my son picked up set number 70808. It was the Super Cycle Chase from the Lego Movie, which was an amazing movie. My kids loved the movie for all the action. I love the movie for the meaning of it, and especially the ending. Very sentimental, very emotional as a parent, and it just cemented my love for Lego at that time. But I also picked up set number 75049, the Snow Speeder, which was my very first Star Wars Lego set, and we were hooked from that point. And as the years went by, it was another Lego set, a new adventure, another shared experience, and we absolutely loved it. If you fast forward a few more months from there, my 40th birthday, my family went in and got me our biggest Lego set to date, which was set number 7965, just over my shoulder here, the Millennium Falcon, which was an amazing build. The whole family chipped in to kind of help build this set, and I have some really great core memories associated with this set here. Then in 2014, we discovered that Lego has a thing called Winter Village sets, and we love Christmas. We go big for Christmas in our household every year, and so to see that Lego built specific sets for winter villages, we were like, we're going to do this. And so we ended up picking up our very first winter village set that year, which was set number 10245, Santa's Workshop. And that became a tradition where the kids would build the winter village set for the year, and then we would do a little winter display. And again, when you're just starting out, you got one set to display, but we've been doing it now for almost 12 years, and so we have quite the winter village. But that was another thing that we love to do together as a family. And then we eventually just got more and more into Lego. Lego used to do monthly build club. I don't know if they do them anymore, but for like $10 a kid, you could go there and they would give you a set that you could build together, have a competition with it with the kids, and then you got to go to the pick-a-brick wall and fill up a box and take it home with you. It was a great little value for the kids. We would do that with them in addition to Home Depot and Lowe's. And so we were, again, always on the lookout for experiences to do together with our kids. In 2015, we even took it a little bit further, and we took the kids to the Legoland Discovery Center, which is near Atlanta, about 45 minutes from where we live. And that was a fun experience with them. They got to see all the interactive stuff there. And then as a family vacation, we went to Legoland in Florida, and that was an incredible experience with the family to do that. It was actually at Legoland that my wife began to collect the Series 14 sets with the monsters. We had no idea. Again, we're new into Lego and discovering all these different things about Lego. And she went downstairs to the lobby to pick up something, and she picked up a few packs of Series 13 or Series 14, sorry. And she was like, hey, you can collect all these and we should try to collect all these. And so we ended up collecting the whole series, and that just kind of, again, fueled the flame that was there of Lego in our life. And then as you just fast forward through the years, when The Force Awakens came out, again, we're big Star Wars fans, and there was a lot of hype to that movie. We went to Force Friday at Target at midnight, me and my son, and we picked up a couple of Force Awakens sets, set number 75099, Rey's Speeder, and set number 75103, the First Order Transporter. And then from there, a couple years later, we got our first UCS set for Star Wars, the Ewok Village, which was, again, we had no idea what a UCS set was. We just loved the set. We loved the village, and we had somebody who gifted it to us, which was amazing. And the kids had a great time building that. We would do Lego stuff for trunk or treat things at Halloween time. We would decorate and take our Star Wars sets and make scenes as people came by and got candy. We would do stuff for Harry Potter as well. Every year we would try to do something different with our Legos. My son really got into Lego Star Wars, and he loved to do battles with those things, where we would lay out all the sets, and he was allowed to take a day, and we would kind of get parameters around his battles that he would have. And we would say, okay, here's the deal. You're going to do one battle, and you're going to have 24 hours or 48 hours, if we were being generous, to have your battle, do what you're going to do. And then after that, you have to clean up everything. You have to put everything back together, and you can disassemble some of the sets when you're playing and swishing and doing all that stuff, but you can't like destroy them. You can take some pieces off here and there, but you got to put everything back that you do take off and do that. And so he would do that. He had a big battle in 2019. He would do it again in 2020 and then again in 2021. And there were some great memories, and it would take up the entire, we have like a bonus room, a guest room, when people would come and stay with us. And so we would lay out all the sets, and he would just have this incredible battle, and it was amazing. But again, some core memories with him. As Nash got older, I would say his interest in Lego expanded beyond Star Wars, and he got into Marvel, and he got into Ninjago, and he explored some different themes. I stayed pretty much in my lane with Star Wars and with space, and then I dabbled in some Harry Potter as well. And at this point, in 2021, 2020, Kennedy kind of checked out with Lego, just really wasn't her thing. She would occasionally jump in and help with a set here or there, and she would obviously help with the Winter Village sets, but that was kind of her thing. She was like, it's not really my deal, so it became something between my son and myself to do that. And then in 2022, we got to go to our first Lego show, and it was there that we got to see some incredible builds, some incredible mocks that were there. Also got to meet Ryan from M&R Productions, and Nash got to meet Mark and Steven Erickson, the winners of Lego Masters Season 2, I believe. And so that was an incredible trip to do that. And then I would say between 14 and 15 years old with my son, his interests began to expand, and he got a job at our local Publix, and he was saving for a car. He was getting more into gaming. And so he is probably in what I would say his dark ages with Lego. He still likes Lego. He still gets about 1 to 2 sets a year, but they're the bigger sets. Like for his birthday this past year, he used all his money that he got from family relatives and all that. And he bought the Lego Avengers Tower. So that was cool. So he's still into it, but not as much into it. And he's 17 years old right now. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens with him and his Lego journey. But for me, the idea of Lego has stuck. I love building Lego sets. I love building because it's simply fun. I love building Lego because it gives me a sense of completion in a world that can oftentimes feel unfinished. I love building Lego because it is a mental escape for me from the stress and the grief and the weight that life can bring with it at times. And I love building Lego because I think it teaches valuable everyday life lessons like patience and problem solving and just a simple joy of creating something from nothing. So I love Lego, and I plan to continue to build and collect Lego for as long as I enjoy it. In fact, the only 2 things that will probably ever slow that down are the same 2 things that are there as challenges for every Lego builder and collector, and that is money, right? Lego is not cheap, and Lego just released their earnings for last year in 2024, where they made just over $75 billion in revenue from sales of Lego. So Lego ain't cheap. What's the best way to find the best deals on the Lego sets that you want? We're going to talk about that in another video. And then also storage. What you see behind me is just a fraction of the collection that we have. What do you do? How do you best store? We're going to talk about all your storage solutions in another video as well. So make sure you check those videos out. And in the comments below, I want to hear your story. When did you start collecting Lego, and why did you start collecting Lego? Share your story in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, keep building and never stop playing. See you next time.